Welcome back to another review, this time for the anime Wandance, which had 12 episodes and was airing in autumn of 2025. Synopsis on any list. Kabuku Kotani is starting high school and he plans to do what he's always done. Go along with his friends, keep quiet and not draw too much attention to himself. After all, it's hard enough to get by with a stutter like his. Why make things worse by standing out from the crowd? But then he sees another first year, Hikari Wanda, dancing like no one is watching, or like she doesn't care who sees her. It makes Kabuku wonder, could he reach that same freedom? To find his way to Wanda, he does something he never thought he could. He joins the dance club. After all, every routine begins with a single step, right? Join Kabuku and Wanda as they freestyle their way to life and love. This one was very interesting. So, as I stated, we follow Kabo, which is the guy presented in the middle of the picture. And he is friends with Wanda, which is the silver-haired girl. Also this one here. And Wanda she likes dancing. She loves dancing. And, you know, the first meeting is him seeing her dance as if she doesn't care what happens. Now he's very self-conscious. He's a very tall dude. He has a stutter. He also has not really good experience with dancing. We find out that, you know, in like elementary school or whatever, there was some dance and he stood out negatively. So he's a little bit, you know, apprehensive. However, we go and, you know, join these two in their pursuit of dancing. I assume this would be, you know, more focused on maybe Wanda, the girl, and Kabo, our boy, being like a supportive type character, you know, mostly concentrating on her. However, I was wrong. It is, you know, a lot of concentration about him, about Kabo and his journey in learning how to dance. And I also assumed, okay, we join a dancing club, we have like this dance musical where we have this whole group going and, you know, we dance, make a choreography. However, it seems to be mostly focused about or on battle fighting or dance battles specifically, which, very surprising. I personally have zero clue about dancing, what dancing makes good, what you need to look out for. However, there is, for every episode, you can check the Reddit, and there are people talking about, you know, their experience and what they saw in the show. And it seems like that not only the source material, but also the adaptation try to make it a really good, you know, way to showcase dancing in this way. This is mostly about, you know, I don't want to call it only hip-hop dancing, but you know, the more free dancing, more quote-unquote used, not the more stricter types of dancing like tango or whatever. I hope you know what I mean. And I really like the show. I found the show really, really good. There is a lot of CG being used, especially for the dancing, which does make sense because there is a lot of movement that you need to do and plan. And if you have more than one scene like this, it makes more sense to prepare a CG model and then, you know, use that to showcase the dancing because you have more control over the minute movements and you can, you know, have more impact. Naturally, there's always this, you know, it looks always a little bit weird if you have like CG in a 2D environment. That comes sadly with the whole thing. Or if there are some scenes where you clearly see, okay, they took a lot of time for these CG characters, mainly our most important characters, and background characters look pretty bad in, they don't have really faces. It looks really out of place. However, they, in my opinion, did a fantastic job with the whole dances. I really like it. There were episodes where you had like 6 dances or so, and it's insane how much movement you have in the show. You could have just been like, okay, maybe a dance every 2 or 3 episodes. No, you get a lot, and I mean a lot of dancing in the show, accompanied by a lot of music, a lot of different music. Not like, oh, we have 1 or 2 tracks, we use those over and over. No. We have like a bunch of different tracks, different artists. I'm assuming they are all real. I'm not going to check. But we have a lot of them. I mean, from what I can remember, at least like 10 different songs. At least. And this is a low count. And again, a lot of dancing. A lot of, around this whole system, environment, whatever you want to call it. I have no idea about all this whole scene, so I'm just looking fresh from the outside. I cannot really comment on how realistic it is, how well done it is exactly. I'm just seeing it from the outside, and it felt really good to watch. And I feel like this is all that matters, at least for me. Additionally, we have Cabo, our main character, who, he's very subdued, he's very passive, he has his stutter, he has his problems. He's very tall and supposedly handsome, which always is hard to gauge in anime. But, he has his own problems. And he's coming into this whole new world. He's trying to keep up. He has Wanda at his side. She is just fantastic. She's a wonderful character. She's pretty positive. She's very supportive. She is, pulling him along. She's very good at dancing. She seems to be more or less his, North Star in the sense of the dancing scene. Because he tries to, most of the stuff he tries is because of her. She's doing a fantastic job of helping him in his, in his pursuit of dancing. Additionally, we find out later, it's a mini spoiler, that her dad has problems hearing. And we also find out that supposedly the anime states that a lot of people that are hard of hearing, they don't really learn sign language. So, she has to try and find a way to communicate. And if she grew up with that, it is understandable that she's able to understand Cabo. Whenever he has his stutter, he can't really get out the words that he wants to say. And she's understanding, she seems to have like this connection. And I'm assuming that is mostly because she is living at home with someone similar that can't really communicate as freely, as openly, and as easily as the rest can. And she learned how to interpret that, which is a really nice touch. Also, it seems like we have a little romance budding between those two, which is very nice. It is very subdued. It is not like, oh yeah, I love you, I don't love you, blah blah blah. No, they grow closer and closer by dancing, by going from places to other places to further their dance. It's very nice. On the side romance, I like that a lot. We also have other characters. We have Shiori, who's another dancer. We have On, who's fantastic as a leader character. I feel like the show is really, really good. Seemingly, I am one of the few that seems to think that way. I do have two examples for animation. One that I just want to show you case a little bit of the CG dance animation, and the other one a little nice touch they did in the show. Let's see. There we go, a little dance routine. This, by the way, is Shiori. Naturally, no sound. And it is very smooth. Look at how much movement there is. I do not believe you could do this as easily in 2D. Just gonna put it out there. Now, I have no idea about dancing, so I can't really tell you much about that. This, by the way, is on. But that is a lot of movement, and this is only like a couple seconds. Every dance is like, or you know, dance scene, we have like 30 to a minute easy, and there are so many in the show. And this is a nice little touch they do whenever they are, you know, they dance a lot. Again on. There's a little smoky effect. Whenever you are really, really working out, it is, you know, you are pushing your body, you are burning, you are hot, you are sweating, you are emitting this steam because you are so burning up, you are so fueled. Very nice touch, very nice touch. You see here as well. Really, really, really impressed by the show. And yeah. Now, ratings wise, AniList has it at 65% mean score. My anime list 6.96. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how. Really, I have no idea. Maybe it's because of the CG and maybe people don't like it, which is fair. It's fair. But I showcased some of it, and from the comments I saw on Reddit, they seem to say that the CG gets better every episode, which could be the case that, you know, at some point they get better. I know the beginning was pretty rough in some cases. However, I feel like CG was the right decision, because if you did 2D, you could have made probably as dances that were as good as they did in CG. However, you couldn't only do so many, because you spent a lot of time preparing the CG and stuff. You now have a lot of, you know, you have a lot less time investment to transform additional dances into the show. So that is my opinion here. Naturally, unfounded, I don't have any insight. Ratings wise, again, 6.96 on my anime list. I would give it a 9 out of 10. I believe this is a fantastic show. Characters, very likable. The story is very interesting. The dancing seemed to look really good. The music was fantastic. The romance, really nice. I really just like the show. It is a really, really good dancing show.